Hello everyone, it is time again for a Novella November live stream. Let's go! Hello, welcome to the live stream. And we have a good crew hanging out with us tonight. Hello everyone, hello. Just Guy, Pilot, Alex Watchman, we got Gav, we got Atariel, we got Kiera, Coral Sands, Queen Biscuit, Oddrun Green, Gabriel Knight. Oh my gosh, the list just goes on and on. Just goes on and on. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Oh man, gotta tell you, I look forward to these live streams every day. I've done a little writing off the live stream, but most of the time I'm doing my writing right here. Welcome. Wow. I love seeing all the familiar names in chat. That makes me feel really humbled. Thank you. Let's talk about what's happening today. Coral Sands, internet down until 2:30. Where are you living? Internet can't go down. We got work to do. Queen Biscuit, how are you? I'm doing well. You know, it's that time of the year where the sun goes down earlier and earlier, at least if you live up in the north. So right now, 5:15 p.m. comes around, pitch black outside. So, you know, that always has a little bit of an effect on the mood. But I keep the energy high. I did, how much do I want to divulge on a fun video in the future? Today I finished recording a cover of a song for an upcoming video that I think is going to be quite fun. I had to do the vocals today, so I've done music production in the past, like, you know, I used to play music in Atlanta. And so today was all recording the vocals and the harmonies and everything, which it's fun because I get to say that's work, but it's really just like me having fun in my computer room with all my instruments and stuff. So very excited to share that with you all. This week's video, just so you know, this week's video coming out on Friday, like they always do. We have a video on, I think it's tropes and cliches. I talk a ton about genre tropes. You've probably heard me talk about them. They are, in my opinion, one of the most like important kind of like concepts to wrap your head around, because it gets you in the headspace of starting to think about your story that you're writing in regards to like some grander, more abstract concepts. And those grander abstract concepts don't necessarily help you write a better scene, but they do help you understand your story. And the more exposure you get to things like tropes, to things like those abstract story concepts, I think you start to understand storytelling in a different way. So I hope you guys like it. You know, tvtropes.org, shout out, one of my favorite websites to use when I'm sort of exploring the kind of storytelling I want to do. That's a key website, and that's one of my writing resources, key thing there. All right, let's talk about what we got going on today. First things first, you know it, you love it, you've heard it time and time again. We got a couple things to talk about. Number one, thank you to Pro Writing Aid for sponsoring the live stream. Shout out Pro Writing Aid. Thank you for working with small creators and allowing us to be able to run these live streams without having to do a ton of ads in the middle of all of our writing and our cool, chill, lo-fi music. Pro Writing Aid has been in my corner since the start. Very appreciative of it. I use Pro Writing Aid in my own writing process. You've heard it all here before. If you're interested in trying it out, if you're interested in trying Pro Writing Aid out, keep an eye for maybe like an upcoming Black Friday sale. I heard a whisper of a wind of a swallow's wing breath swing by, and I wanted to let you know that there may be a nice discount upcoming. So check that out if you've ever wanted to try it out. It is a subscription thing. When the discount comes in, it's going to hit hard. And maybe you end up trying it out for a month or trying it out for a year at a much lower cost, and then you have a whole year to decide whether or not you want to keep doing it. I'm glad I did it. I bought a lifetime subscription back in like 2019 or 2020. And yeah, I'm a big fan. So thank you, Pro Writing Aid, for that. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about editing. And in case you're curious, I'll probably run a couple Pro Writing Aid reports on my story. If you've ever been curious about like exactly what you can get out of it. And I have one good tip that I can share with you guys about why I'm such a big fan of it. So we'll talk about that about halfway through. And then, you know what? That's it. That's all I got. All the links for all the things, you can always find them in the description below. Whenever I figure out that I don't have a link that I should, it's because someone asked for it, and then I'm like, oh dang, I forgot about that thing. And then I put it in. So hopefully I have everything we need. All that being done out of the way, Kiera has a question. Have you read the Universal Fantasy Book on Writing? The Universal Fantasy Book on Writing. Is that the title? Because that is a very practical title. I wrote the Universal Fantasy Book on Writing. I don't think I have heard of a book of such a title. If it's a fantasy specific writing book, I have read a couple of those. One I have not read yet, but a lot of people have told me a lot of good things about, is the writing book Steering the Craft by Ursula K. Le Guin, I think is how you pronounce it. 7-Figure Fiction. Have not read that yet. I'll put it on the list. I got a big old list of writing books. I do have another writing book breakdown video coming out the first week of December. I hope you guys like it. I love reading those writing books. I don't know if it's like everyone's cup of tea, but like if I can do a video and have like actionable takeaways that make me a better writer personally for having done that video, that is a win-win, dude. You know what I'm saying? People seem to like them, so I'll keep doing them. And also, like, reading a writing book, which is always such a terrible way to phrase it. Reading a writing book is like a shot of inspiration for me. It gets me motivated to like go out and do more writing, just to be around other people talking so much about the craft. I don't know if I'm alone in that. Let me know. Kiera says universal fantasies are like tropes, but are more about making readers feel. Oh, very interesting. Okay. I thought you meant like there was one de facto writing book for fantasy writers, and it was universal. You know what I'm saying? But I feel you. Universal fantasies. Very interesting. I'll have to check it out. I think tropes are a really interesting concept. For sure. All right, how's everyone doing on their stories? How are we looking with word count, with progress? Is everyone feeling good about where they're at? This is kind of what I consider to be. Wait, hold on. Let me bring you in a little closer. This is what I consider the time to be of like the make it or break it moments. You've probably gotten pretty close to being done with your inciting incident. Maybe you're about halfway. Maybe you're in Act 2. It's right around that sort of mark. And that's usually where people just kind of lose their energy. You know what I'm saying? Isabel says, almost halfway where I want to be for the month. That is awesome. Shout out, Isabel. That is awesome. Word count wise, I am definitely not at that number. But also, I am like so not stressing about whether or not I complete this by November 30th, or whether or not I have those 70,000 words by November 30th. For me, it's like I wrote every weekday of November and I have 30 to 40,000 words. That's a win. That is a win. I hope you guys are feeling that way too. Congrats. Gav tried to cover up his typo real fast. Can't slip one by me, bud. You can't slip one by me. I saw that. No one's safe here. No one. I see you all. Here's the great thing about being a small YouTuber, small streamer. If you post it, I see it. All right. Here we go. Yeah, Coral Sand says all words are good words for sure. I'll give you a little update about where I'm at. On Tuesday, I had a little bit of a speed bump. I was writing very naturally, kind of just following the next narrative thread that was going to happen, feeling very good. And I got to the end of this chapter, which was going to be sort of my end of Act 1, like all the, most of the information's present. We have a dead body. We have someone who's told to stop investigating it, but they're not going to stop. We have these characters paired up together, the love interests, as they're going to try to solve this mystery. And we know things are more than what they seem. The downside was, when I finished that chapter that I was writing about that was supposed to go into this next act, I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I haven't accomplished all the things I need to accomplish yet. I went back to look at my plot framework over here in this fancy little table. And, we have storyline A, storyline B. Let me know in the comments. Tell me, what's the difference between storyline A, storyline B? You hear it all the time in different plot frameworks. What does that mean? I realized that I had kind of done everything I needed to do in the storyline A category. But my storyline B, I just totally forgot like this whole thing. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not quite ready to get to Act 2. Do I need to rework a bunch of stuff to fit this in the right place? And then I was like, you know what? I ended that previous scene of just like this one dude being mad and like slamming a door behind him. And then that was like scene. But then I was like, that doesn't have to be the end of that night, right? Then I just have a knock on the door and we keep going. I make it feel very natural. I make some excuse for why this is happening so late. Oh, we heard you yelling from outside, coming to check, whatever the case may be. And now we're here to accomplish just our character stuff. So now I'm trying to wrap everything up in Act 1 and set up everything for Act 2, where I'm at here. If you don't know, there is a difference that you might hear with storyline A, storyline B. Storyline A is all of the, what they call your external plot. You'll hear this in some writing books. Storyline A is, hold on. There we go. Storyline A is Indiana Jones is finding the Holy Grail. All the series of events that happen to get him closer and closer to finding that Holy Grail. Storyline B is that internal plot. That's what they call it, in the internal plot. Those are the things that are happening inside Indiana Jones' character that change him from beginning to end. And in a lot of cases, we see this as like a romance subplot for a lot of books. In the case of Indiana Jones, it's a son being accepted by his father, right? There's a specific journey that happens and all the little plot steps that happen between Indiana Jones and his father through that movie, which is the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And that's storyline B. Do you need to sit down and plan out 2 storylines for your book? Probably not. Probably not. But I'm challenging myself to be a lot more intentional about doing that kind of stuff. So I got to go wrap up all this kind of stuff in my story. That's where I'm at. We're at 15,054 words. Feels good, feels good. All right. All that being said, I think it's time to write. I'm putting 20 minutes, not 10, 20 minutes on the clock. I'm turning the microphone off, the music up. Isabel is sprinting over in the Discord if you would like to go and be able to track your words. The Discord is really fun if you haven't found it. There's a chat room called Sprinting Room 1 in the writing section. of the Discord, and it just runs through a timer, and then you can write with other people and then share how many words you wrote, and it ranks you and celebrates all your progress. So give it a shot. 20 minutes going on. Good luck, everyone. Make some good progress. I'll see you on the other side. Dude, it is crazy how fast time goes when you're throwing 20 minutes on a timer and focusing to write. It's crazy. I feel like we just started. I feel like we just started writing. Hello, Miss Blogger. Welcome to the chat. Lantern Valley, so glad you made it. Welcome. 15703. Millennium Storyteller says, came in 14 minutes, got 300 words. Let's go. That's awesome. Welcome, Millennium Storyteller. Hello. Miss Blogger, she said, what's everyone working on? Oh, we got lots of cool stories in the chat right now. This looks Isabel's fantasy novel at 40,000 words. Let's go. We've got I'm working on a little small town, kind of like mystery crime drama set in Alaska. I won't go over all the details because I've said them so much. I'm sure our chat would go, oh God, here we go. Dang, Whittier, Alaska. Let's learn more about Whittier, Alaska. You can find them. There's a link below to all the past playlists that has me talking ad nauseum about my story. Queen Biscuit's writing a novel about a kidnapper who's up kidnapping a child that's possessed. Bet that kid's parents were like, take him. Take him. Thriller, sci-fi, and Victorian England. Oh, that's so cool. I think Victorian England is such a cool setting for a story. There's like so much personality in the setting, in the characters, and all kinds of different stuff. That's going to be a good one. Gab says, working on my first draft of my journal style first-person sci-fi novel. Very cool, very cool. There is a... What's this book called? There is a book that I read. Pull this. I think it's called Annihilation. Annihilation? Yeah, Annihilation. If you've ever read this, this felt very much like that journal style book. If you've ever read something like this. The Southern Reach series. This is the one I read. Also, pretty fast read. Pretty fast read. So if you're looking for any inspiration, Gav, you haven't read this book already, this is similar style. You can also watch the movie, which was also really good. Wow. How about that? This guy says, comedy is so hard to pull off. Isabel says, I've been meaning to read it. It's a good one. I did the audiobook, and it was only like a 6-hour audiobook, so it's not a very big book. But it's got some really cool, interesting ideas. Feels very like a very fresh kind of science fiction take. Just Guy says, comedy is so hard to pull off. Here's a question for you. In writing, in books, what do you think makes good comedy? That's a tough question. What do you think makes good comedy when you're writing? Because it's different. It's different than comedy in a movie where you have the physicality of like the joke being delivered to kind of help sell the joke or to sell the comedy. It's different than, you know, like video games. If you ever experience comedy in video games, it's different than any of these other forms. But what do you think makes good comedy? A lot of good comedy can come from a witty narrator. That's one of the, probably like the narration and the internal sort of that internal narration where it's actually coming from a character is probably one of the things that books can do that very few other mediums could do nearly as effectively. Of course, you could have a movie like Dude Perfect, The Big Lebowski, where we have narration that kind of, you know, is all throughout the movie, but like books is so much narration. Books is narration. You heard it here first, folks. Good word play. Millennium Storyteller, like A Guide to the Galaxy. Douglas Adams, hard to beat. Hard to beat. Very specific style of humor, too. If you like him, definitely check out Terry Pratchett with Discworld. Queen Biscuit says, I really like the way Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy did it. Drier humor is really great. Witty narration. That's that British humor. I'm telling you. That British humor is so dry. Terry Pratchett does a lot of good humor. And I think a lot of his humor comes from like situational kind of stuff. And then, of course, you have the classic wordplay and narration. If you've never read the first opening chapter of The Color of Magic, which is the first Discworld book, the opening chapter is all set up for like one big pun. Highly recommend. His character interaction never be topped. Witty narration, subverted expectations. I tend, when I'm writing books, I like to think I have, at least when it comes to dialogue, the air of some comedy. And for me, it's usually allowing there to be like a lighthearted, almost like charming banter. That, because I feel like that's a very natural way that two people can talk, especially when they have good chemistry. And when I'm writing two characters that are going to be around each other a lot, I'm really hoping they have good chemistry. Giving them lots of room to do these little tangents that aren't like, here's like a 4-line exchange that's all about moving the plot. It's more of, here's an exchange that's all about sort of showcasing why these two characters work so well. I find like I get a lot of good comedy out of that sort of banter. Isabel says, sometimes I feel like I get a lot of accidental comedy in my stuff because I tend to write really dark things. I'm also a silly little guy. You know, I think we all got a silly little guy inside of us. I think we all got a little silly little guy somewhere. Lemony Snicket. Lemony Snicket's a very specific. We were talking about a series of unfortunate events maybe late last week. We were talking to specifically how well those books do atmosphere, because everything is just drenched in that morose, like hopeless, gray, drab feeling. But Lemony Snicket, yeah, I found that there was a lot less like there's a lot. Let me say it this way: a lot of the comedy from the Lemony Snicket books kind of comes with like absurdity. And if you've ever read like a T.J. Klune book, I kind of get the same kind of vibes. Sometimes of just like presenting characters and a scene in a way that like any normal person would be like, this is wild. Like clearly this is not like a normal thing. But of course, like you have the characters like in with Lemony Snicket, the banker, who like sees all of these terrible warning signs and just like is completely blind to them because adults are bad in kids' books. You know what I'm saying. Oddrun says a well-placed line break can work to deliver a joke really well. Big fan. Big fan. I also I'm a huge fan of writing some kind of line of dialogue that is either like a not great attempt at humor or like a joke that falls flat, or like a kind of awkward line, and then having, instead of a response right away, just a line about the silence between everyone, or the pause in conversation, or like, you know, something that just acknowledges like, oof. You know, that's how I write in through the narration moments of oof. When someone says a joke and you're just like, oof. No, that's not it. Isabel says, God, I really need to read that whole series. I bought okay, here's great value. Wait, not great value like Walmart, but here is a great value. You can find the Series of Unfortunate Events series, the entire series for $50. All 10 books on Amazon. Unfortunately, it's not the really cool, really fun, iconic book covers that we're all used to. It's like a more mass market kind of thing. But I bought all of them because I want to read through them and do a video on atmosphere. That's a deep dive into that series. So I read the first one in like 2 days. It's like 110 pages. Also, only kids book I think I've read at like that middle grade age where like a kid gets hit by an adult. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. Wild. I remember I reading that now as an adult and I was like, yo, this is not okay. And of course it was the super bad villain and it was immediate, you know, it was like immediately as everyone was like, this is too far. But I was like, dang, what are you doing? What are you doing? Queen Biscuit says, I don't know too many who wouldn't do that in a character situation. Add jokes to the story. Michael Crichton had a character pee himself in Jurassic Park. Yeah, I see. That's what Queen Biscuit is saying, realistic. You know, I like to think if I was in a Jurassic Park situation that I would just die. I wouldn't even have the chance to embarrass myself by peeing. I think I would just go. In fact, you know what? I'd probably just like hit the off button, right? I'd just be like, you know what? Peace, I'm out. Fade away. That's a tough one. Tough situation to be in. Also, book very different from the movie, the Jurassic Park books. Isabel's birthday is coming up. Happy early birthday. Loving it, loving it. 25 is low-key daunting. 25 is a good one. You're going to like 25. 25 is a good one. You can rent cars without paying any more extra car insurance in the United States. So you got that going for you. Now, after that milestone, they're all gone. You've lost them. Every milestone from that point out is just ticking off something on the checklist. Oop, 26. Oop, 34. Kiara's, your birthday was on Sunday. Happy late birthday. Wow. Happy birthday. So many birthdays in chat. Wow. Millennium Storyteller says, Michael Crichton is my favorite author. Michael Crichton, 100% agree. Huge fan of Michael Crichton. Read most of Michael Crichton's stuff. Here's the deal. Oh, you know, I could do a Michael Crichton book tier list. Let me tell you. First thing, the #1 sleeper Michael Crichton hit. The book published posthumously, post death. That book posted after his death is called Pirate Latitudes. Sleeper hit. Sleeper hit. Pirate Latitudes being this whole idea of like, hey, what if Michael Crichton wrote like a kind of historically accurate pirate story? It's a good one. It's a good one. It has a slow start. The first like 30 pages, I was like, what the heck? I'm not really picking this up. I'm like, oh man, you're not sold. You haven't sold me on this idea. You're talking about like a governor of a town. But then once you get to the action movie style writing that Crichton does, that's a win. That's a win. Timeline, where has characters going back into the past, is a fun read, not super memorable. The Jurassic Park books, the first one felt very much like a lot slower, and I think the second one was just all action, which was fun. Micro's a good one. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Michael Crichton style. That one's good because it felt like it was a very specific villain. Disclosure, I think is what, and there's another book called about a, I don't even know how you sit down to write this book, right? Disclosure is about a man and woman who both work at a job that have a little action almost happen, and then the legal battle that happens after that as they both try to get ahead of each other in accusing each other of bad things, right? What the heck? I find myself in a pattern. Do I really enjoy most British authors, but Stephen Moffat? I do not know this author. Who is Stephen Moffat? Inform me, chat. Bring me up to speed. Talk to me about Stephen Moffat. Do we have a bunch of Doctor Who stans in the chat? Talking about British media. Wrote a lot of Doctor Who. H Bomber Guy has a great video on him. Just Guy is a Doctor Who stan. I have seen maybe like 7 episodes of Doctor Who, but they were all the huge critically acclaimed ones. Like both of the ones with the statue angels, the one where they're flying through in this little spaceship and there's a monster on the outside that starts mimicking people and taking over their brains, and I saw that one. What else did I see? I saw that was a great one, by the way. That was a great one. What else did I see? I try to watch all the canon episodes about the little robot guys. What are they called? What are the little robot guys called in Doctor Who that walk around like, you know what I'm saying? We are the Daleks. Now here's the thing. I don't think I've seen a single episode of Doctor Who that wasn't David Tennant or Matt Smith. Is that his name? I haven't seen any Doctor Who episodes that weren't those two. But to be fair, I feel like of the era when Doctor Who was running, that like I had friends that were actively watching Doctor Who, it was those two, you know? It was those two. And David Tennant is of course the best one. We all agree. It's not even really a debate. As the de facto source of Doctor Who quality, I can chime in on this and say it's David Tennant. All right. Peter Capaldi. Yes, I forgot. That's his name. Oh, man. Doctor Who. That would be I wonder. I've been thinking about doing this for a live stream at some point. I think it would be a lot of fun to find some old movie that is in like the Creative Commons, not copyrighted anymore, and do a screening of it on the live stream where we can stop and talk about story decisions and whether they're good or bad or cliche or whatever the case may be. I wonder if any of the really old Doctor Who episodes are so old that now they are available for free. There's an idea. MoFat Loki made me stop watching. Brutal. It's so old and so good. It'd be cool to also to be able to do the old Twilight Zone TV shows. Be able to put those up on screen and talk about why this twist worked. How can we apply something similar to our own right? I got to keep it on brand, you know? Got to keep it on brand. But doing like the Twilight Zone one, that would be dope. That would be awesome. A little Mystery Science Theater 3000. If anyone gets that reference. All right, I think it's about time to do some more writing. Feel free to continue the Doctor Who standing in chat if you would like. But we're about to throw on another 20 minutes. Put on that lo-fi music. Microphone's going off. Get some writing done. Manos Hands of Fate. Never heard of it. Tell me about Manos Hands of Fate. Which, doesn't Manos just mean hands in Spanish? Personally, you'd like to see someone who to analyze Michael Crichton? I would totally do that. I've definitely read enough of his stuff to do it. Sphere, #1 Michael Crichton book for me. Sphere, so good. Manos Hands of Fate was one of their episodes. Dude, such a good show. Not Manos, Science Theater. All right, let's do some writing. We will return to the Michael Crichton chat afterwards. Maybe I'll pull up some kind of tier list or something, or at least a list of his works we can talk about about Brighton. I love Michael. All right, 20 minutes. We doing it. See you on the other side. Good luck. second writing sprint done. Good job, everyone. Good job. Whew. Time flies fast, I tell you. Ooh, 16,350. Let's go. 16,350. How'd everyone do? What kind of progress did you make? How did everyone do? Also, Arthur Marie St. John, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Glad to have you. 450 words, about to hit 11K. Let's go. Good job, Millennium Storyteller. Just guy, it does. Time does fly. Isabel says 737 words and my protagonist figuring out how to walk as a fox. They should make a song out of that. How does a fox walk? I guess your protagonist knows. JPB joined in the last half, did 100 words. Welcome, JPB. Let's go. Let's go. JPB in chat. Oh, yeah, good progress today. We got a lot of good progress. I think so far in those past 2 sprints, I've done almost 1,300 words. So averaging about 600 to 700 words each one of our 20 minutes. Authors, so many otters in this community. So many otters. Eterio says, first 20 minutes I had like 440. Now it's only like 340. So excited, so excited. That's progress. Progress. Eterio, I don't know if I've seen, have you posted anything in the Discord about the story that you're writing yet? Or are you waiting to do that for another time? I'm very interested in what you're writing. Such a mystery. Such a mystery. More pertinent, what does a fox say? Gap says, introduce some family drama and got 385 words down in the last 20 minutes. Very awesome. Very awesome. Odd Green, 312 words. Let's go. This guy says it's got 5 hundo. Lantern Valley's struggling with the peanut butter jar. Hey, happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. I feel that. I feel that so hard. Isabel says, I really need to look up fox language. Oh my gosh, you're going down the foxhole. Going down the foxhole. Terrell says, haven't posted anything yet. I'll have to better look into it and see what other people have posted about their stories. So we got 2 places in the Discord. Also, for anyone joining us who was not part of the Discord yet, link below. Come join us. Come hang out. We have a great time. We have 2 story workshops right now. We have the main story workshop for anything that you want to post in regards to, like, here's the story I'm working on, or here's a chapter I'd love to give some or get some feedback, all kinds of things like that. But we did also create a specific Novella November story workshop for if you wanted to make a post for the story that you're writing in November. We have some people who are doing that post for, like, you know, the story they've been working on for months, and some people doing a post for what they just started. But it's a place for you to share your updates if you want feedback on certain ideas or concepts, or share your writing process, ask questions. It's a great place. You know all about it. You know all about it. You don't write your story in English. We do have a bunch of active members. Germany. I always got to remember Germany, Brazil, very active people in the UK. A lot of really active people in, I feel like there's one other major location. But anyways, yeah. If you would want to share something in your native language, I bet there is an active member that would love to participate if you ever feel so inclined. Not saying you have to. Helljumper says, everyone asks what the fox says, but no one asks how the fox says. That's deep. Hold on, I got a tear. How do the fox say? Author Maurice St. John, thanks for hosting this. Thanks for being here. I hope you, so I'll let you know if you're not, since you just kind of stumbled upon this, if you're not part of the Discord, All throughout the month of November, I'm doing live streams, these little writing sprints, 2 hours at a time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do this time slot. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do an earlier in the day live stream for our friends across the pond, over in Germany, over in the UK, over in all these other different places. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. This is an unaffiliated Novella November. Just having a good time talking about story stuff. And probably the biggest thing is just like, it's really cool to be writing with other people in the way where you're all kind of approaching, you know, certain parts of your story at the same time. We're all, you know, if you start in the beginning of November, you're all kind of getting into Act 2 or are now in Act 2 at the same time. The same questions and concerns tend to come up with a lot of different people. And then it's just great being part of a community that, you know, likes doing stuff like this. Very glad you're here. 54 words in 15 minutes, not bad, especially when you're translating. Especially when you're translating. I feel that. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you all something. So you know I use Pro Writing Aid, but for those who have not used Pro Writing Aid before, maybe you don't really know exactly how, you know, you see like when I'm writing, if I have this turned on, we get highlighted things like, hey, you know, maybe this is a poor use of language, or this is passive voice, or you've started the same, use the same word to start multiple sentences. For those who don't know, it's a lot more than this. This is just kind of like the basic view. If this bothers you while you write and you do want to write without these kind of things highlighted, if you go over here, you can go to your settings and you can just turn it off even just for an hour. Or turn it off for an entire specific app if you don't need editing feedback on that specific thing. I'm using Scrivener to write. Of course, you guys know I love Scrivener. And this integrates natively with Scrivener. It's really easy. Love it. But what you probably don't know, if you haven't used this before, is what you're seeing highlighted on my screen is like the most basic of what Pro Writing Aid does. So like here, let's look at this one thing, because you know, this is my proto draft. I'm not super focused on making this like really nice language. It was only then that Adam realized that he was going to get over it. Terrible sentence. Terrible sentence. You can see this is highlighted here. We highlight it. It says that, this is one of the things I always do poorly in my writing. I include the word that in a lot of sentences because I always think it brings a little bit of emphasis, right? So Pro Writing Aid has noticed that I do this a lot. And the only reason I know that I do this a lot is because Pro Writing Aid has told me. It's one of those things. Now, you guys, go off and chat. One of the benefits of using this, and this extends out to any sort of tool that you want to focus on using for editing, is the fact that a lot of times we're really blind to the writing rules that we're breaking because it feels so natural to write in that way. In my mind, it was only then that Adam realized that he was going to get over it. If I go here and I get rid of that word, it doesn't change the meaning of my sentence at all. And that's what Pro Writing Aid's telling me. This was something that when I wrote Starlight Farms Kennel for Talking Dogs, link in chat, of course, and I was doing my editing for this, I realized I used the word that way too much. And I could just take them out and it wouldn't change anything about my sentence and it would flow a lot better. So that's one of those things about my writing I learned only because I used some kind of editing tool. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's talk about something else here, which is that the main purpose of using Pro Writing Aid is all of their different kind of reports that you run. So this is just if you're interested in finding the tools that help you write kind of like to your full potential, you're going to need some kind of editing tool at some point. In here, we can do things like, let's look at readability. I can run this report. It's going to check everything in the text available on this page. So it's going to be looking at my entire chapter in Scrivener. And it's going to tell me this should take about 8 minutes to read. Hey, this was easy to read. Here's like these different readability scores. But, oh, look at this. There is one specific paragraph in my entire chapter that was marked as very difficult to read. Now I can go here and I can click on this little arrow and it'll highlight what I'm looking at here. Maybe that's because I used the word Chi-Town in regards to Chicago in my dialogue. And Pro Writing Game was like, bro, what are you doing? What? Chi-Town? This is so cringe. And you know what? If there was a cringe report, maybe that would also show up. I'll tell you in context, it wasn't weird. I promise. I promise. But this is really the bread and butter of what Pro Writing Aid does. I can check to see, are there words that I tend to repeat a lot in my writing? Now, one thing you might see is that, okay, you know, maybe there is a time and place for when you want to be running these kind of reports and doing any kind of editing. And when you're doing your proto draft kind of stuff, and if that's a new concept, check out my video on the proto draft on my channel. But basically, I always preach, don't edit, just write. Just get your head down, work on getting your story down, start to finish. But here's the thing. In using these editing tools, I've learned how to write better. I know that sounds weird. In using these editing tools, I've learned how to write better. And I've learned the same kind of rules I seem to continually break. And I only am aware of that because I had some kind of editing tool. Do I have any 4-word phrases? Maybe it was used 3 times. Oh, that was a stylistic choice. Suck it, Pro Writing Aid. Thank you for sponsoring this live stream. All right. But anyways, all of these different reports, they get you a ton of really good information. If you've never seen Pro Writing Aid in use, this is what it looks like. So what you've been seeing in the background is not the only thing that it does. Shook his head, used 3 times. Of the bar, that's definitely one I would want to change. So very interesting kind of stuff. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to show you. What we got going on in chat? Isabel and Gabriel sharing some stuff. Hey, I love it. Oh, Isabel is Rosewater. What? Hey, how's it going? Kurt Vonnegut is goated. A lot of stuff happening in chat, I'll tell you that. No, Isabel, I didn't know that. But now I know. And now I'll remember. Glad to have you here. Is it weird to have Chi-Town in your story? I'll make it appropriate. Chi-Town. Isabel Rosewater reveal. You heard it here first. All right. Chi-Town, Alaska core. No, Chi-Town is in Chicago. Chi-Town, C-H-I, Chicago. That's what people, they say Chi-Town. No one's ever heard that? Chi-Town. Just like Atlanta is a town down. Or, yeah, I'll stop. You guys are too rural to know this inner city lingo like I did growing up in the suburbs of Atlanta. Chi-Town. Chai, that's where they made chai lattes. It's in Chicago. Historically a Chicago drink. I don't know if you knew that. Don't Google it. Chi-Town. Are you an Atlanta Falcons fan? Definitely not a Kirk Cousins fan with the Atlanta Falcons right now. I will not bore anyone who doesn't like football or doesn't follow football. I will not bore you with football chat. I will not bore you. I mean, when I lived in Atlanta, of course you wanted Atlanta to do well. Now I live in Wisconsin. Which means I think when I signed for this house, there was a clause in there that I have to be a Packers fan. So now I am a cheesehead. Cheeseheads in chat. Thank you. First, I thought it was about Chinatown. Hey, I mean, does Chicago have a Chinatown? I bet Chicago has a Chinatown. Helljumper Packers fan. There's literally dozens of us. Dozens. All right. All right. Football chat. We don't need to do football chat here. I don't think there's a huge crossover in the writing theory community and NFL fans. Literally dozens. Anyways. Since moving up here, hockey's a big thing. In fact, there are like local hockey teams that you go there, and it's like people who have graduated from high school and they want to go to college for hockey, but like they didn't get a scholarship right off the bat. So they're like in that between area of like 18, 19, 20 years old, trying to play hockey in a way that will get them a scholarship or invited to a team in these different colleges. And that's been a lot of fun to follow. To go to like a hockey team of these like college age kids that are just like going all out. My sweet wife, who is very much new to the idea of hockey, saw two people start fighting. She was like, "Hey, no! Stop that!" from the stands. And I was beside her going, "Yes! Get him!" There's even, because it gets so cold here, right, and the ice freezes over, you'll see people on ice skates just out on like the frozen lake water sometimes. That's rare, but it is possible. It does happen. And there's a lot of Amish people in our community. Sometimes we'll be driving down the road, and I swear to, okay, all right, time for a mind-boggling moment, a rural Wisconsin mind-blowing moment. You may not know this, because I certainly did not know this. When we moved out here right at the beginning of the winter. And we were driving into town to come pick up some stuff. We had just moved. It was probably like a month after we had moved into our cabin. And we're driving down this long stretch of road. Also, in the north, all the roads are straight. Way easier to navigate than down in Georgia. So we're driving down the road, and we can see a long line of cars ahead of us, which is unusual. And usually only happens if there's a big tractor driving down the road, or in this case, an Amish horse wagon. Okay? And if anyone doesn't know who the Amish are a very small kind of like a religious community that exists in a lot of these sort of like northern areas, northwestern kind of areas in the US, that they do not like drive cars. They are not hooked up to the public power system. They do everything very sort of like traditionally. So even like the big farms out here, instead of using big tractors to harvest a bunch of hay, they're out there by hand cutting down the grass, or using their farm animals to drag these things through the earth to farm, the corn, and then using pitchforks to throw it all into the back of a horse-drawn carriage. All that to say, we're driving down the road. We see this horse-drawn wagon. And we're like, okay, there's a long line of cars behind them. That we just got to do like this passing situation. And then I was looking in the horse wagon as we were kind of going by, and it was full of people, right? So there's probably like 4 or 5 people of a family in there. But the thing was, this Amish family, wherever they were going, whether it was some sort of church event or going to the store or going somewhere else, they had at least 6 people that they needed to get there. And what do you do if your horse-drawn wagon only can carry 5 people? What's young Zachariah, our extra little guy, going to do in order to get where they need to go? And the answer is that they throw Zachariah a rope, give him a pair of skis, and then this poor guy is holding onto a rope, skiing through the snow on the side of the road with, 12 cars behind him waiting to pass, holding on for dear life. It's not even a fun thing anymore. Now it's just damn survival. Holding on to that rope, trying to keep the skis straight. He must have been the youngest sibling, or the middle. Definitely not the oldest. That's for sure. So that was one of the first things I saw. We drove by, and I could see the determination on young Zachariah's face, holding onto that rope, just like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Core memory for Zachariah, core memory for me. I have a video on my phone of it because we were passing by. We didn't know this was the case. My wife's driving. I like track it by with the phone, and we both recognize, like, internalize what was happening, and we both turn to each other and we're just like, whoa, what the heck? Yeah, he must have been the middle sibling, because the baby of the family would get to ride in the carriage, and the older sibling, spoiled, right, just gets to be in there just because they're basically an adult. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. All right, here's the deal. One last sprint so we can finish on a nice, productive note. This one goes out to all the Zachariahs in chat. Dana, thank you for chiming in. Shout out to Atlanta. ITP, OTP, doesn't matter. We're all fam in the club. You don't know what that's from. That's okay. All right. Let's finish in one last sprint. End being productive. That's the goal. We'll do 20 minutes. Lo-fi music going up, microphone going off. We'll do all of that. Then we'll come back and do some last chatting for what to expect in the next live stream. See you guys on the other side. You can do this. Be productive. Let's go in strong. All right. Microphone going off. All right, final sprint done. With that, we are productive. We did it. We wrote for like a whole hour today. Lilith, Creative Otter, Chicken Lover, friends, welcome. You made it. You made it right at the tail end, but I'm glad you did it. Isabel says, does anyone get really excited about sequels to their works? I am trying to hone in the ability to tell a standalone story. I did it here with Starlight Farms. There's something special about a standalone story. Unfortunately, a series is way more financially viable. I feel that way when I'm planning out a series. Like, I'm planning the whole thing out, but I haven't even written book 1 yet, and I'm like, oh my god, book 3 is gonna be killer. Eterial, 350 words, love it. Love it. How much progress do we make? Let me know in chat. Post your progress. Chicken Lover says, Carson, I have to say I love Kendall's character. I think she's a lot of fun. She's an amalgamation of a bunch of different people that I know that are just fun to be around. Trying to channel that sort of energy when you are with someone that kind of energizes you with their, personality. That's kind of that Kendall character. So far, so good. Feel pretty good about it. Thank you for saying that. That's really kind. JPB says, writing a story gives me so many ideas for other stories. The best creative force, the best influences are the ones that you get so excited about. And when you get a focus on a single story, you're focused in on story, right? Doesn't matter what story it is. You're focused on that one thing, and all those wheels in your brain start churning, Gabriel says 201 words, which is eerily almost identical to last time. Whoa. JPB says 520 words. Nice. I ended this with 1,800 words over the course of our live stream. Which is a total of 16,933. Let me update my word count. 16,933. 933. Good progress. I think I've been a little verbose in my storytelling, but that's not a bad thing. That gives me a lot of ammunition to trim things down if I need to. If I'm following the 25%, 50%, 25% sort of 3-act structure, then I would be about on pace for my 60 to 80,000 story, which is kind of what I'm following. Creative Otter says, hello, it's super late / early here, but I wanted to show up. Shout out. That is super awesome. Thank you for showing up. Don't ruin your sleep schedule for the live stream. If you can always make it to those Tuesday, Thursday live streams. That is so nice to see. Tario says, writing, I always get so many ideas for sequels. Got to write those thoughts down, then go back to my initial. So it is tempting. It is very tempting. Very tempting. Kira says, a few words, but I had to figure out what I'm doing for the next chapter. I love writing Killian's perspective, but I have no idea how to write them and get his point across. Interesting. In our next live stream, Kiera, we should talk about it. We should talk about who Killian is and why you think it's a little bit hard to get that point across, because maybe there's something we can find out together. That would be a lot of fun. Any sort of discussion about character is my favorite kind of discussion. Big fan of character talk. Let me tell you about what we got coming up. So, of course, we're still doing our live streams. We have our Tuesday, Thursday time slot. We have, Monday, Wednesday, Friday time slot. You know all about that. I'm speaking to the choir here. You know all about this. But I do want to give you a little heads up on videos that we have coming out. Of course, my videos always come out on Friday. This week, we have a video on genre, tropes, and cliches. Next week, we have a video on world building. Very excited for that one. I think. I'll have to see. They get all blurred together when you have them queued up. And then towards the end of November, I have a video I'm very, very excited about. All about The Quest. how every story has a quest and how to write a compelling quest. Very excited to share it with you. I might make it a live event so that we can all be in the chat for whoever wants to see it as it's rolling out live. It is a lot of fun. Justin, I see you. I'm sorry that you missed it, but I can't wait to see you in the next one. Gonna make a lot of progress writing. That's my promise to you. Hey, you guys keep showing up for the live streams. I'm gonna be here. I love hearing about the progress that you make, and I would love at the end of the month to be able to say, here is our total word count that our entire community wrote over the month of November. Here's 1,000,000 words. That'd be kind of cool. Chicken Lover says, does anyone have a character that they are so attached to that they have trouble writing? I've had feelings of like, I'm really attached to a character and it sucks that I'm about to put them through what they're gonna go through. I'm sorry, I'm about to have to ruin their day. But also, that is the price we pay as writers, right? We have to be the ones to do that. That's kind of funny. All right. Shout out to Pro Writing Aid. Thank you for sponsoring this live stream. For those who didn't miss it, I put up a couple of their different reports on my actual story on this live stream. If you've ever wanted to see exactly how a writer uses Pro Writing Aid beyond just the you know, default highlighting of grammar and style, it goes a lot deeper than that. You can check it out about the midpoint of the stream. I might do it tomorrow as well, run some different reports. I think it's really interesting. There's a lot you can learn about your writing. It's because Pro Writing Aid sponsorship here that we can run this without a bunch of ads. So shout out to Pro Writing Aid. Let me know your progress in the Discord. Of course, I love seeing it. It is also motivation to other people. When they see that you made a bunch of progress on your writing, it inspires others to write as well, especially if you do it in the live stream. The more people we get in the live stream, the more people have a dedicated, hopefully less distraction prone writing experience because we do this little Pomodoro style. If you haven't done it before, the Pomodoro style of writing that we've been doing, 20 minutes on, typically it's gonna be like 10 minutes off. Very popular, very productivity focused, big fan of it. Feel free to keep using that in your own personal writing sessions. I make a lot of progress doing things. Had a good time today. Everyone, thank you for showing up. For those who did, who were able to come in and join on the writing, talk about Doctor Who, talk about Michael Crichton. It's always so much fun, and I always feel so excited to be able to do these for everyone. Shout out to the writing theory community. I think that's all I got. Ichiro says, for real, watching Margot's word count do huge jumps. Something else. All right, everyone. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Post your progress in the Discord. I can't wait to see it. I will see you all on Friday for the same time slot that we normally do. And for those who can make it tomorrow, I'll see you then. Take care, everyone. Peace.